Hello and welcome to the morning sports briefing here on Thursday, the 3rd of June. Hi, I'm Paul and I'll be your host this morning. In the news today, we'll have a look at the A-League, where the Phoenix's hopes of making the finals are getting slimmer and slimmer. We'll check in on the NBA and the NBL with the action there, with the Breakers playing in Rotorua last night. Also, we've got Olympic hockey news, and finally, that big test match up in England, where the Black Caps taking on England at Lords, and bring us with how they're going in that one. This is your best way to start the day up to speed with all of the important sports news. And in the hockey then, and Kyla Whitelock, who came out of retirement for the Olympics, unfortunately teared her ACL during the games against against Australia down in Palmerston North, and will now miss the Olympics. So devastating for her that she won't be able to make it, having come out of retirement for the Olympics there in that one. Moving on to the basketball, and over in the NBA, we're still in the first round of the playoffs. The Nets became the second team to make it through to the second round, beating the Celtics 123-109 to win that series 4-1. The Nuggets beat the Trailblazers 147-140 and hold a one-game lead in that one. It's 3-2. And the Suns beat the Lakers 115-85 to take a one-game lead in that one as well. So that's 3-2 there. So two very tight ones, two very tight series in the first round. Over in the NBL, and the Breakers took on the Taipans in Rotorua last night. The Breakers started hot, winning the first quarter 25-16, only for the Taipans to come back and win the second quarter 26-16 to take a 1-point lead into half-time. They grew that lead in the third quarter, but a fantastic final quarter meant that the Breakers won 84-78 in that one. Ty Webster led the way with 23 points. Finn Delaney also scored a double-double with 10 rebounds and 10 points as well there in that one. Corey Webster came off the bench and added 16 points to be the second highest scorer. Oh, and also Cotton Iverson also got a double-double, with 12 rebounds and 15 points. So all good all-round team effort there by the Breakers to beat the Taipans in Rotorua. Also, the Bullets saw off the Southeast Melbourne Phoenix 91-84. The Breakers are still sat in 8th place, even with their 12th win of the season, but have closed the gap on the 36ers. Both have 12 points, just points difference separating them. Not that matters, neither side will be making the playoffs, and let's be honest in that one. The big news moving on to the A-League before we get on to the big news. And one game last night as Brisbane Roar beat Perth Glory 2-1, meaning that the Roar climb up to third place on 40 points. That means now that heading into the last round of games, that in 6th place, Adelaide United have 38 points, and in 7th place, Wellington Phoenix have 35 points. So they can only get even on points, but they do have a better goal difference. So it's really tight now. Absolute fingernail stuff for the Phoenix if they want to make those finals there in the A-League. The big story of the day, though, obviously is the cricket over there in England, as Kane Williamson won the toss at Lords and decided to bat. This has not always been the best option as over there, the average first innings total in the at Lords over the last 5 games has been pretty low, 151, I think it was. He says, now I can't actually put my finger on the actual score. Yeah, a brave move there by Kane Williamson. But look, the conditions did look good for batting, and it was definitely the right option to that one. Yes, 151 has been the average over the last 5 tests at Lords. A good opening stand between Latham and Conway as they reached 58 for 1. Latham eventually chopping on Ollie Robinson, the debutant there for England, for 23. Kane Williamson came in, scored 13, and Ross Taylor got 14 as they fell rather cheaply, reducing New Zealand to 3 for 114. But that just brought Henry Nicholls to the crease, and he supported Devon Conway well. Devon Conway reaching 136 not outs at the close. There, only the third batsman to make a century on debut at Lords. So a fantastic innings there for him. Also, the other players that have done that. Sorry, I had it all lined up, and I've gone and lost it now. Were Sourav Ganguly back? It's also the highest innings on Test debut. Sourav Ganguly was the highest with 131 there. Previously, the other one was Henry Graham, was the only other visiting person back in 1893. So yes, it goes back a long way there with that one. Conway's the 12th New Zealander to make a century on Test debut. The last one was Tom Blundell, who Conway has replaced in the 11, and the last one offshore. It was Kane Williamson against India back in 2010. So fantastic day for Conway there. Did has his wobbles against Wood as pace, where he got hit on the upper arm a couple of times, but apart from that, was in fantastic form as he led New Zealand to 246 for 3 at the end of day 1. So in New Zealand in a strong position there, looking at building on that lead tomorrow, obviously at Lords. So fantastic start to the Test match there, folks. One of the most anticipated sporting events in a long time for New Zealand. Obviously, these Test matches against England in the build-up to the World Test Championship against India over there in England. So a cracking opening day, and congratulations to Devon Conway on his on his Test debut, and so he goes on to make it a big century in on the second day. You have now started the day the best way to speak with all of the important sports news. Don't forget to join me at 7 a.m. tomorrow morning as we'll keep track of how New Zealand, how the Black Caps are going against England in that Test match. Also, hopefully the Kiwis will be in action at Roland Garros in the men's doubles as well, and we'll bring you up to speed with how they're going there as well.